By the way, it looks like it is since dry, but you have a little bit of blood on your left.
I know.
Okay, as long as you're not like bleeding into your own eye. I don't care if you have blood on your face.
Brent, tell him how it happened. You fell down some stairs.
Fell down some stairs.
When a mommy and a daddy don't like each other very much.
Hello and welcome to the Games That Made Us podcast. I'm Brent. I'm joined as always by my good friend Kirk. Say hi, Kirk.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I was not prepared for that. And Benny's here. Say hi, Benny.
I'm having a sudden heart attack out of nowhere for no apparent reason. Hi.
Oh, God. Yes, we're back. And if you couldn't tell, we're here to talk about Metal Gear Solid. Oh, I'm so excited, gentlemen. I'm so pumped. I was telling the guys I finished this game for the first time yesterday, and I was like white knuckling my controller through the end of the very last boss battle. I'm just like, I have to get this fucking done. I have to finish this video game for my job. Wait, no one pays me for this. This is yeah.
But if you want to.
Yeah. Manscaped.
Let's do it. But yeah.
What was the catch line? It's okay to nick your balls?
It's okay to nick your balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use that.
Yeah. We're available.
Nick our balls. Oh, wait, no, nick our sack. That was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we dive in, and I know we are all very excited to dive into this delightful mess. Kirk, what have you been playing lately, man?
So I've been playing a lot of because of the Steam summer sale and all. I went ahead, even though I'm a little late to the game. It was $3. I picked up Prison Architect.
Oh yeah.
And that has been like a drug addiction for me for a while. I've been playing the hell out of that. And then I found out like there's a second one incoming, which I'm pretty excited about now. I kind of regret not picking up the game sooner because I have a lot of friends that have talked about it.
Yeah.
And the game's pretty old at this point. It's like 8 years old, I think. But it was $3. Like, how can you go wrong? And it really scratches my penchant for, well, it's not turn-based, but I also like RTSs.
Yeah.
And then it has like almost a Stardew Valley kind of feel to it.
Okay.
Which I really dig. I've been playing the hell out of that. I mostly started playing it because, I had a birthday recently.
Yes.
Everyone here in this room joined me in like an all-day adventure of going to wineries and breweries and whiskey distilleries. Whiskey. Yes, so much whiskey.
So much whiskey.
And after we got home, I got sick. I wasn't like hungover sick or anything like that. No, we actually were pretty well behaved.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pam's parents had something with them because they stayed home and watched the dogs, or I don't know. Maybe I bumped into somebody who was sick or whatever. But the past Monday and Tuesday of this week, I left work early on Monday.
Aaron and I have been sick.
Yeah.
And Megan was sick too.
Yeah, I think we all. That's good to know. We might have all run into somebody.
Yeah.
Or what have you. So when I was sick, I dumped so much time into Prison Architect.
Nice.
Holy shit.
God, get the fuck away from me, you plague rats.
Yeah.
Come here, let me cough in your mouth.
But I mean, otherwise,
Not
like,
again.
Less sexual this time.
Oh.
Otherwise, just like Destiny and whatever. I think I picked up some other games that I haven't on the Steam summer sale. I haven't played yet, but I'll get around to it.
Yeah. Well, that sounds cool. Yeah. I've heard of that game, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
It's simple to play, very non-committal. Learning curve's kind of steep. They don't really explain a lot to you as far as what needs what. So rely on the wiki pretty heavily if you need. But it's obviously well worth the $3 considering how many hours I've shoved into it. Like, and then I grabbed the DLC too, and worth it. Totally worth it.
Nice. Benny, what about you, man?
No, you go first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just shaking it up.
Suspicious.
I'll shake you up.
Yeah, that's ominous.
I don't have anything special. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I have I mentioned briefly on the last episode I've been playing a lot of both Into the Breach, which our friend JJ got for me, which was very kind of him, and also a little bit of Front Mission, the 90s Super Famicom game. Both super fun. If you like turn-based strategy RPG kind of games, those are both heavy recommends. And then I've been playing a lot of Terraria. I picked it up a while ago after we had our go-to games episode, and we were talking about Minecraft. And I had a problem with Minecraft when it was new. Like I had issues disengaging from it. I had a couple nights where
it is addicting.
They turned into mornings, and it was like, so I was like, okay, I'm in the. I had an itch for a game like that. So I was like, well, I'll try Terraria.
But you have a life to live.
Yeah, I have children and a job. So I picked up Terraria, and goddamn, that is a fun game. That is also super addictive. My current base is like this giant castle with all glass walls behind it, so it looks like it's outside, but it's not. And so none of the monsters can get in. And I've got, I think, like 15 or 20 NPCs living in it. So, and I finished my minecart Underground Railroad. Not that kind of Underground Railroad, but I guess also sort of, because you're saving NPCs. So I guess kind of that kind of Underground Railroad. And anyway, it's now runs all the way around the game world, so I can just roll like, I also made it to hell, which was neat.
Neat.
Yeah, there were demons.
Did you take over?
No, I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to the actual combat in the game. But yeah, it's super fun. I wanted to mention also, speaking of Steam Summer Sale, I wanted to also mention Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which is a...
Puzzled looks all around.
Did he have a stroke and he's just saying words now?
That's a lot of things to say in a row, Brent.
Yeah.
You know that meme where it's like Godzilla tried to read it and fucking died or whatever, and it's like Godzilla dead on a cart? That meme? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Benny's never seen that meme, so now we're only adding to the confusion.
Yes.
I'll cry and then I'll figure it out.
It's okay. So the game is called Turnip Boy.
The rest of my life.
Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and it is a Zelda-like, like a 2D top-down Zelda-like, where you play as a turnip who committed tax evasion by ripping up a document, his taxes, and is now forced into indentured servitude by the mayor, who is
also a turnip.
An onion, I think he's an onion. Everybody's a vegetable.
Is there a caste system?
Not like the Republican Party, just like actual vegetables.
Touche, sir. Touche.
Yeah, it's super adorable and weird, and I can't shake the feeling that it's going to take a really fucking dark, ominous turn. Like, it's just a little bit too cute and twee and like
Veggie Tales with extra steps.
Or like,
yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I was thinking more along the lines of like Link's Awakening, where like, oh, it's cute. Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting the distinct impression it's gonna have a turn, and I could just
turnip.
Oh no! You get the hell out of this house, sir, motherfucker. But yeah, it's.
My wife is listening to this and fucking laughing right now. She loves that kind of shit.
It's very cute. If anybody listening, like there's people listening, if our fan knows how to what the fuck am I saying? Yeah, the like 3 people who listen to this, one of them happens to know what the ending to Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is. Yeah, fucking come at me. I'll roll those dice.
We're speaking into a vacuum. Like, come on.
But yeah, that was like again, like Kirk was saying with was it Prison Simulator
or Prison Architect?
Prison Architect. Similar story. This was like $2, so I was like, fuck it, yeah. Somebody had recommended it, and it's really cute and fun. And if you like Zelda likes, it's one of those. What have you been playing?
I finally decided to go back and so I picked up Red Dead Redemption 2 on Steam.
Okay.
I had it on my Xbox One. And actually, I never finished it. It runs on that console, but it doesn't it doesn't excel in any particular way. It's a little bit sluggish. It's kind of painful to play.
Yeah.
So I waited till it went
pregnant pause there. It runs.
Yeah.
On that console.
And not even at particularly aggressive or intensive settings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful game.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I put it on my wish list and waited till it went on sale. And a couple months ago, it went on sale, and I picked it up. And so, as listeners will know, because you're our friends, and that's pretty much all of you.
Yeah,
I recently moved.
My own family doesn't even listen to this shit. Are you kidding me?
I recently moved and got my computer set up for the first time in a long time.
Right.
Just on the TV in the living room, because I'm still working on getting my office set up.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing a little bit of that. Also, the inciting incident to getting my computer set up was, so I was holding off on setting it up because I didn't want to monopolize time on the TV, because my wife and I watch TV down there together. Then she said, "Are you scandalized?"
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Watch television on your TV?
Weird. You mean
What
you're
is
just
this,
not?
the fucking 80s?
Yeah. Why don't you go?
Yeah, I'm a fucking Nielsen family over here, aren't I?
Why don't you go sit in separate rooms and look at your
Me
cell
and my-
phones like a normal modern family? You freak.
Me and my cats fill out forms to tell people what we're watching and what we think about it.
Did I ever tell you guys the story about when we were a Nielsen family? My
Were
family,
you really?
Yeah, we were a Nielsen family for a little bit. And my dad was because my dad was working and my mom was going back to school, so I was a latchkey kid for a while. And my dad was like, "Well, did you write everything down that you watched?" And I was like, "I think so." And he's like, "Well, what about this block of time?" I was like, "I think I watched something about knives." And he's like, "Something about knives?" And I'm like, "Yeah. And so my dad's, and I'm 7, right? So my dad's trying to drag it on me, and finally he figures out that I was watching an infomercial about
QVC
Chicago
or
casual.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like those Jinsu knives, cutting cans and shit. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then I could cut right through this tomato.
Right. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah,
setting up your computer.
I set it up, and because my wife was like, "Oh, I want to watch you play a horror game."
Okay.
She's a huge horror nerd.
Yeah.
She knows classic film, and has recently been getting into the more cinematic horror experiences in the gaming world. And so, actually 2 games that I played, but I'll keep them short. One of which is called Killer Frequency.
Okay.
And you play as a radio DJ in a small town in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And it's this really interesting notion where through circumstances, the town's 911 operations get routed to you as a radio DJ at this station.
I saw a
and so
review of
you
this.
take 911 calls and help people survive a serial killer in the town.
It's like Night Trap, but good.
I don't remember that one, so I'm sorry I can't respond to that. But,
That's okay.
The game responsible for the creation of the SRB, basically.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I kind of figured that would trigger.
Yeah. So this is it is good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, predictable in certain ways, but also it's executed in such a cute and likable way that it's totally worth playing.
Okay.
And it's got some mild puzzle elements. It's not as expansive as I would have liked, maybe, but it's also it's clearly very indie.
Yeah.
Pick it up if it's on sale. It's worth it. Killer Frequency. And then the other one we played, which is a big budget game. It's a full cinematic horror experience called The Quarry.
I've heard of that.
This
And
one I
it's-
don't know.
And it's a double entendre. It's literally you are the quarry, but also it takes place in a place called Hackett's Quarry.
Nice.
And it's got multiple layers of, I'm not going to spoil anything, it's actually got some pretty cool story elements, and choices matter, Brent.
Oh, fuck that.
Shut
It
up.
really is. It is one of those, but it's actually so seamless
Yeah.
that it actually. So I will say this: after you play through, actually, I think even before you play through the game, you have the option of choosing what they call movie mode, which is literally a couple of presets. Well, actually, you've got 3 or 4 presets, one of which is everybody lives, everybody dies, the goriest possible endings, and then custom choose all of the decisions as you go. And so it's like a quick time event driven game.
Okay.
And there are decisions that you can make throughout, but it's got a movie mode. It's meant to be cinematic. So as you like play it, it feels like you're watching a movie that you interact with. It's like if anybody ever watched like the Black Mirror season, or like that episode where it had
Bandersnatch.
Exactly.
Yes.
The Bandersnatch, where it had like interactive choices that you could make.
Yeah.
This is like that, but good.
Okay.
What's the game that's like that too, where you're basically trying to avoid Wendigos?
That is Until Dawn.
Yes. Is it like that?
It's very much like that.
It's like cinematic, and then like you make the... Okay, cool.
No, in fact, I would recommend all 3 of if
that game's
just
fucking hard.
that as an aside. Until Dawn is great. I don't know where that's available currently, but The Quarry and Killer Frequency are both available.
Oh my god,
are both available on Steam, and they're great experiences.
Can I ask about like Killer Frequency? Does he like pause and then like plays music for a while?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's fucking fantastic.
You like
cool.
All right, we got some time between
like
19 songs. Let's take a call. I'm gonna give this so much more. Get out of there, caller. Get out of there. Run away and stay safe. Next up is Flock of Seagulls.
Dude, it's 19.
And I ran. What?
Have you played this?
No.
Dude, that's fucking it. That's the fucking game. Like, they don't have like copyrighted music, but like that's fucking it. That's exactly. It's 1988, so like the music's on point.
Oh, that's okay. Now I'm playing it,
Dude,
Yeah,
if it's on sale, pick it up. It's not going to blow your mind,
Sure.
but it's like enjoyable from start to finish. It's fun. It's a goofy little slasher romp. It fits the slot perfectly.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
by the way, sorry. What you talking about horror games?
This is going to be the longest episode ever because the game we're covering is going to take us forever.
I know. I'm sorry. Just real quick. I played a game called Pools. It's a liminal space game, but it's all public pools. It's just like the back rooms, but it's public pools. Nothing happens. I've been playing for hours and nothing's happened so far.
So is it like
it's just super creepy?
Is it like the backrooms? Like, is it like procedural and do the pools like go like 1,000 miles and shit?
Yeah, it's super it's uncanny all the way down, and like
kind of awesome,
drippy and creepy, and like it's just extremely uncomfortable to the point where like every little room you go into, you're like, nope, don't care for this, and then you turn around and you're like, nope, I'm back in that other place I don't care for. But like nothing's attacked me yet. I have to believe that at some point something's gonna kill me, but nothing has. The only way I've figured out to die is there's a big hole that I jumped into, and I shouldn't have done that because I died.
Like House of Leaves, but with pools.
Yes,
Pools of leaves.
It is 100% House of Leaves. That is the best. I wouldn't have thought of that, but yes.
And if you don't understand that reference, read a fucking book.
Read that fucking book. That's a great book.
So you want a fun segue into the game we're covering today?
Yes. Do it. I dare you.
So I knew, obviously, as it turns out, the term we use sometimes is inside baseball.
Yeah.
Brent likes that term.
Yeah.
I do. I'm aware of the games that we're going to talk about sometimes on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's strange, I know.
No.
My wife sent me a video on Facebook, like a reel, the other day, and it had the sound effect Kirk used to introduce himself.
Yes.
It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's on the internet everywhere. What? Yeah, like you've alerted someone sound.
Right.
Most people don't even know where that came from.
Right.
She sent me this video, and I was like, "You want to know something interesting about that sound effect?"
Yeah.
That came from the video game that we're talking about on the podcast this weekend. And she was like, "That's cool."
And you die a little on the inside.
I love the build up to that. That was the best, like, build me up and then let me down easy. That was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to be covering 1998.
Yeah, we're going to be covering Konami's Metal Gear Solid.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so
Well,
excited.
I should say Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid. Maybe more
That's fair.
accurately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it.
Let's
We all
be honest
know.
about where it came from. Not who made it, but where it came from is
The deep, dark, and sticky recesses of Hideo Kojima's mind.
And I'm not even talking about I actually don't remember if Kojima was involved with Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2,
He was. So
but he things really take off and start getting off the rails here.
yeah, so I won't because I want you to open for Solid because it's Benny brought us this game, but I do want to I am pretty familiar with the background of the history of this series, and most Americans will be familiar with the two NES games, Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge, I think is the name of the second game. The first one is a botched port of Hideo Kojima's MSX computer game, Metal Gear, and the second game, Metal Gear 2 for the NES, has nothing to do with Kojima at all. It's completely unrelated to anything that he worked on. He's been very public and aggressive in his hatred for that game. There is a game between Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear Solid. There is a Metal Gear 2 in Japan that also came out on the MSX computer. And then he worked on Snatcher and Police Knots and some other visual novel games before he got to Metal Gear Solid, the game that we'll be talking about today. But so if you want the background, because this game just kind of drops you into a world.
Yes. And it's most people's introduction to the universe,
Yes.
and most people, myself included, won't go back and get not from the source. You will get a lot of the backstory, especially if you continue with the series.
Yeah.
You basically revisit events of previous games
Sure.
in the modern era in terms of this game.
Right.
But no one should expect to go into Metal Gear Solid knowing what's going on, because that was kind of unrealistic at the time.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know that approaching Metal Gear Solid from a perspective of I want this all to make sense, let me get all the background information is a fertile way of approaching this series.
It's almost designed with the exact opposite in mind.
Yeah.
Which confusion and a little bit of, if you're not an inquisitive person, don't play this game, because it's going to upset you.
Oh my god. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Benny, do you want to tell us a little bit about Metal Gear Solid, kind of where it came from, and then your first interactions with it?
Yeah, I'm actually going to keep this kind of quick, because I expect we're going to branch and deviate a lot, because there's so much. The plot is ridiculous of this game. So
Yeah.
the game is called Metal Gear Solid, and then the subtitle, or if you look at the box art, it's called Tactical Espionage Action. So this is it's a third person stealth game.
Yep.
Unless you want to murder everyone, in which case there's
it's
no
a stealth game
involved.
unless it isn't a stealth game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This was released in 1998 for the PlayStation 1.
Right.
It was developed by Konami, who produced all sorts of shit. I'm not going to go over it.
Right.
But you
you
have the internet.
If you listen to a retro games podcast and you don't know who
Yes.
Konami is, I'm confused why you're here. I mean, welcome, but why?
And yes. So actually, I should have said.
Yeah,
developed.
in fact, just unsubscribe now. Leave.
No, stay.
Don't
listen
join
to
the
him.
Discord. Don't hit the like. Brent will thank you for that. And then before you leave, go fuck yourself.
No, come into our Discord and tell us how dumb we are or something. I don't know. Don't leave.
Come into our weird embrace.
I'm so lonely.
Phrasing?
Wait.
I meant that in every way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's get sticky.
Ugh.
Oh God. Okay.
Is
Anyway.
it too real now?
So yeah, I actually should have said developed by Konami and produced by Hideo Kojima, who you might know from all sorts of esoteric, cerebral, thinky, absurd.
Or at least he thinks they're cerebral, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. But also, at some level, I think even if you contest that, they accidentally stumble onto it sometimes.
I'm mostly joking, but
That's fair enough. If you've played For example, contemporaneously, Death Stranding.
Yep.
So anyway, man, we really got to get into this because it's crazy. So it is a stealth game, third-person action, released on the PlayStation 1, later released on remastered and released on the GameCube.
Right.
I actually recommend you play that version because it looks slightly better, but plays almost identically to the original.
And that one's called the Twin Snakes, correct?
That sounds right, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the same game. Yeah. I don't think you miss anything. Someone's probably going to have a real problem with me saying that, but
I know it was controversial at the time.
I've played both of them, and I liked playing back through the game on the GameCube because, man, PS1 games are rough today. So again, it's Metal Gear Solid tactical espionage action, and it's a stealth game where you play as the essentially eponymous character Solid Snake,
yes,
who is a what isn't Snake? But in this case, he is
an 80s action hero member of Foxhound.
So I will get into the plot a little bit, but he is a secret agent. He is a covert agent, a super soldier. You will come to find out later, and he is tasked with,
or is he? Is he a super soldier?
Boy, that's a real deep question.
So I was trying to describe this game to my wife the other day, and you know what I hit upon? It feels like a Jean-Pierre Jeunet film, like Fifth Element or Alien Resurrection or like Valerian and the Planet
City or the Valerian, whatever. The
and
City of Planet.
If you've played Metal Gear Solid 2, you'll also know that they directly allude to like the Escape series. So like we're talking like Snake and Iroquois Pliskin, and like the Escape from L.A., Escape from New York series is also like clearly an influence on these as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's a ton of... So if you're not familiar with Hideo Kojima, all of his stuff has a ton of references to 80s and 90s American action film. But the reason why I bring up Jean-Pierre Jeunet is his movies, every time I watch one, I can't decide if it's brilliant or the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And that is... And either way, I love it. Like it's so much fun. But that's the vibe all the way through this game to me. It's like Fifth Element, where I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't decide if that was clever on purpose, or if I'm just dumb, or either way, it was fun as hell.
That film is particular in its ability to be. It should be trash from start to finish, and yet it's infinitely rewatchable.
Absolutely.
Like so much nostalgia for some of these films.
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a depthless supply of 80s camp built into this late 90s PlayStation 1 action title. And make no mistake, it's an action title with stealth as more of a pretext than anything. Well, you can, and as the series goes on, stealth becomes a little bit more central to gameplay, and I think that's because it's a satisfying. I think it's a satisfying mechanic, and I actually want to talk about that a little bit when we talk about gameplay.
Yeah,
because some of the contemporaries of the time, as you guys probably saw in the notes section where we kind of like share things, I think stealth was kind of a burgeoning genre.
Yeah.
Maybe burgeoning genre is the wrong way to put that, but it at least experienced a small renaissance at the time because exploring areas in a 3D world makes stealth and computing power, making it so that enemies or people detecting you have cones of vision in 3 dimensions and sound and just being able to process more things, I think made stealth a more viable ground to explore within. Yeah. So I think we saw some titles that persistent into the current day that maybe we didn't see at the time. So I think stealth is a part of it, but it's really kind of a pretext.
Yeah.
For a plot, for a delivery mechanism for a plot that is fucking absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, certainly this doesn't have the depth of, like, the Thief series in terms of, like, the stealth.
The mechanics are pretty shallow.
Mechanic to it. But, yeah, and I think you said it best. I think that the Hideo Kojima, if you don't just a general recommendation to go read anything that man says. It's always
Just Google him. Like,
yeah,
for
it's
real.
so entertaining.
He's wild.
He is, but he's been pretty vocal in the past about, you know, what he wanted to do was make movies. That's what he wanted to do, and you know, I mentioned offhand that two of his big games prior to this were Police Knots and Snatcher, which are both visual novels. So like, you know, that's where he wanted to go. And this movie, see, there it is.
Yeah.
This game is very much like the more you get into it, the more you're like, okay, he had a story that he wanted to tell, and the way that he decided to deliver it was through the medium of video game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The stealth video game is a delivery mechanism for the plot.
Right.
In the very beginning of Metal Gear Solid, it is very cinematic, and like old classic movies, I would show you the credits before the movie. The credits are rolling as you're actively playing through the first part of this game. So
Absolutely.
yeah, another nod to he wanted to play movies. That's a very movie thing to do.
Yeah.
And if this is a movie and not a video game, let's just like postulate that this is an action movie through and through.
Yep.
And I can prove it to you if you go out to YouTube and look up the release trailer for this game.
Okay.
It's like 6 minutes long, and it's just 6 minutes of Snake shooting the shit out of everything that moves with rockets and machine guns. And you can tell they were doing it in a test environment because he's got 9,999 rounds constantly just like fucking blasting everything constantly. There's no stealth. Actually, there's like a moment where he's like crawling through a vent.
Yeah.
And then he comes out, and then one of
Just
the
fires
guards,
a rocket launcher into somebody's chest.
a guard discovers him, and then he chokes him out and kills him, and then another guard does that "Brrrt" sound, and then he starts shooting everything. Like this is an action game with stealth stamped on it. And I still love it for that.
Oh my God.
I mean, this was formative for me. So
Yeah.
make no mistake, I love this, and when I'm critical of it, it's in a laughing way. But
Absolutely. Like, where did you first encounter this?
yeah, so I actually I never owned a PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
I owned a Nintendo 64, and then I moved to a Dreamcast,
Okay.
which is a fantastic console that I'm sure we'll need to visit some of at
Yeah.
some point in the future.
So you were all into the cul-de-sacs.
And then I moved. Well, and then my friend who was not a gamer was playing Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2, and I just fucking knew I wanted it.
yeah.
And that led me, and the PlayStation 2 was backwards compatible.
Right.
So that led me back down the rabbit hole of like old Final Fantasy games on by old I mean the
Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
Right.
But really where I wanted to play it,
Mhm.
but I didn't get an opportunity to really get to these things because I didn't have the system at the time. But my best friend at the time had a PlayStation 1, and he lived a half a block down the road from me.
Nice.
And so I'd go down to his house and I'd watch him play games on his. I played plenty of games on my own, but like I wanted to hang out with my friend, and
Yeah.
I am enough of a visual learner to be able to enjoy just watching someone play.
Yeah.
So I watched him play lots of games, and some contemporaries of this, like I watched him play Metal Gear Solid. I watched him play Splinter Cell. I also watched him play some of the Final Fantasy games. A bunch of the stuff from the PlayStation 1 era that were, you know, that you'll see on, I guess if you were to look up lists, if you're that kind of maniac to look up PlayStation game lists. I watched it there first, and eventually I would get a PlayStation 2, and I would pick up a bunch of these titles and go back and play them myself, but I was kind of enamored of the visual world that the PlayStation 1 opened up for us at the time, because you know, we moved to not many people. In fact, I don't know anybody who had like a Sega Saturn or a Sega CD, and 3D gaming really didn't expand for me until arguably the Nintendo 64, which we've talked about. We've really beaten that horse to the death. So eventually I was compelled enough to go back to it, I guess is really the story here, because I didn't get into computer gaming in the 3D space until the early 2000s, when I finally convinced my parents to buy a graphics card for our family computer that could handle some of the stuff that I wanted to get into. Yeah. This is before I was able to build my own. So I got to watch it, man, that really, looking back on that, that's really coincidental and also fitting, and maybe not so coincidental that Kojima was designing things that he meant to be playable visual novels.
Yeah.
That were infinitely watchable from a third party perspective. It wouldn't be until college, or I don't remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 comes out, that I would, kind of really delve into the series even more deeply at that point.
Because that was a PS2 game.
It was, yes.
But I don't remember when it came out.
It probably would have been high school, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was formative for me, even as someone who wasn't playing it, and compelling even more to go back and actually get my hands on it.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Well, yeah, and it definitely just the overall presentation leaves a mark for sure.
Well, and I didn't sit with my friend and watch him play the whole game. It's not a short game. It's not super long, but it's not short. And if you miss anything, you miss a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if you watch the whole thing, you still miss a lot.
Sometimes if you miss something and then you can't get it, it makes the game substantially harder.
I almost feel like we should get the plot summary out of the way. I'm going to read this and then we can move on, because it's not going to take... Boy, dear listener, this is really going to be... I'm really sorry about your brain. So remember, the game came out in 1998.
Yep.
This summary starts with in 2005. So we're looking into the distant future. Ooh. In 2005, renegade genetically enhanced special forces unit Foxhound seizes control of a remote island in Alaska.
It's just instantly funny.
Oh God, we're not even a full sentence in.
Yeah.
Foxhound seizes control of a remote island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago, codenamed Shadow Moses, which houses a nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Right.
Foxhound threatens to use the nuclear-capable mecha Metal Gear Rex being secretly tested at the facility against the U.S. government.
Like a T-Rex.
It does.
It does, yeah.
And somewhere in here they will mention that Metal Gear is a bipedal weapons platform for transporting and using nuclear weapons. And it makes sense kind of on the tail end of like Cold War era. Like nuclear weapons were really... proliferation was still active and the Cold War was in near memory. Everyone's thinking about it. It really makes sense that this is happening. In the 90s, as kids, we're just like, whoa, cool. But like at the time, like the people who made this had experienced existential terror from this. There's a ton of conversation in this game about like the START treaties and like attempts to reduce where there's lots of big blowy ups. Like DARPA and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna power through this
all right.
as eloquently as I'm able.
Okay.
So yes, Foxhound threatens to use the nuclear capable mecha Metal Gear Rex being secretly tested at the facility against the U.S. government if they do not receive the remains of Big Boss. Big Boss is a featuring character from previous games who was a important part. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
And a ransom of $1 billion within 24 hours.
Okay, then. We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
Solid Snake, who is our, again, eponymous player character in this game, is forced out of retirement by Colonel Roy Campbell to infiltrate the island and neutralize the threat.
Luckily, he's been living in Alaska.
Yeah, he's just chilling up there, like you do.
Mushing dogs and eating muck-muck.
Yeah.
So,
Snake enters the facility via an air vent. Never happens again in the series. I'm joking. This is Air Vent, the video game. Snake enters the facility via an air vent and locates the first hostage, DARPA Chief Donald Anderson.
Or does he?
Anderson reveals that Metal Gear Rex can be deactivated with a secret detonation override code.
Or can it?
But dies of a heart attack.
Or does he?
Or does he? God. And it...
Colonel Campbell's niece.
That's so true.
Because his niece is fucking there. Meryl Silverberg.
Well, she's fucking there later. Right now, she's just there. Sorry, keep going.
Also, Colonel Campbell's niece, Meryl Silverberg, held hostage in a neighboring cell because reasons, helps Snake escape. Snake locates another hostage, Arms Tech president Kenneth Baker, but is confronted by Foxhound member Revolver Ocelot.
Yes.
That's his fucking name.
Revolver Ocelot, who has a Scottish accent, but is revealed in the end of the game to be Russian. Oh, also Meryl, who is blonde, except she's a redhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, pistol kitten. Handgun cat. Their gunfight is interrupted because he uses guns. How could you guess? Their gunfight is interrupted by a mysterious cyborg ninja who cuts off Ocelot's right hand. Baker briefs Snake on the Metal Gear project and advises him to contact Meryl, whom he gave a PAL card that might prevent the launch.
Yeah.
So this is like an access card.
Yeah.
But
it's not just like European television signal.
So Kenneth Baker, the Arms Tech president, then he too dies of a sudden heart attack.
Or does he?
No, he does. that one actually does.
So I to start this next part, so there's an in-game mechanism called the codec, which is basically like a radio communicator where like your leadership communicates and gives you objectives and things and talks at length about nonsense.
It's where the owl from Ocarina of Time comes and talks to you, and then do you understand? But with like CRT, like Game Boy Color pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spoiler owl.
Spoiler owl.
So over the codec, Meryl agrees to meet in the warhead disposal area on the condition that Snake contacts Metal Gear's designer, Dr. Hal Otacon Emmerich. So Otacon is his like code name or his nickname.
Yeah. Call me
En
Otacon.
route, Snake receives an anonymous codec
Sound
call.
like Japanese anime.
Well, that's his name, right? Is like he's like a nerdy, like he controls things, but also it comes from otaku, like an anime fan. Yeah. So en route, Snake receives an anonymous codec call calling themselves Deep Throat, warning him of a tank ambush. So of course, Deep Throat from fellatio fame, and also from
Watergate,
and also from the Watergate.
Deep Throat, most famously known as a sexual position, but also from Watergate. Yeah.
From the Watergate scandal, you know, the Nixon administration.
Yeah.
Tell me this isn't about the Cold War. Obviously, everyone knows it's fucking about the Cold War. So, yes, Deep Throat is warning him of a tank ambush. Snake fins
like
off.
Sorry.
He was deep throating a snake, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A solid snake.
Solid snake.
Yes! Thank you.
What do you mean?
Not a liquid one.
Yeah, not a liquid snake.
Not a liquid one.
Not a liquid.
That came later.
Yeah. Came later, phrasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes to read that far.
Sorry.
Or does it?
So, yeah, Otacon sends Snake, and then he receives the anonymous codec call from Deep Throat, and he's going to get attacked by a tank. And then Snake fends off the attack from Vulcan Raven, who is a giant Alaskan shaman.
A Vulcan Raven is my favorite. Like, they do pretty well at not going too hard into the Japanese don't understand racism, so they're accidentally racist. They do pretty well, but this was like the one where
pretty strong here.
Yeah, this one I was like, no, this isn't actually that cool, man.
You mean a country that's notoriously xenophobic is not very good at picking up on social cues from other countries?
Shocking.
Weird.
Also,
Since when?
I think Kojima might be a little bit of an autist. Just, you know, no hate.
So when we're reading some of these names, like half of these are bosses and half of them are just like throwaway characters that we're never going to see again.
Right?
There's two people that I've read. There's Meryl and there's Colonel Campbell, and the rest of these people either die or you kill.
Meryl.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
The sound effects are ridiculous.
Oh my god, I love it. I love David Hayter's performance in this so much.
Yeah, David Hayter is. If you get the perfect ending, or like if you like play back through and like get the headband and everything, like they'll even like name him David Hayter and everything instead of Snake. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Snake fins
Well, no,
off.
he's Dave.
Dave,
And it's
that's
a
right.
reference. It's a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey, and so is Hal. It's Dave and Hal. It's a 2001 reference.
Huh.
No, Kojima said this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he said a lot of crazy shit too. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Oh God. Okay, I found where I am. Snake fins off the attack from Vulcan Raven, the racist shaman.
Yeah.
The shaman's not racist. The game is.
Yes.
Proceeds to the
racist?
rendezvous where he locates Otacon.
Yeah.
The ninja reappears.
Yep.
Once again, we encountered a cyborg ninja.
Yep. Don't forget about
Don't
him.
forget there's a cyborg ninja.
Yeah.
And Snake realizes it's his former ally, Gray Fox,
Or is it? No, it is.
who he thought was dead.
Yeah.
Devastated over learning Rex's true intentions. It's like what they mean to do with Rex. Otacon agrees to aid Snake remotely using his special camouflage to procure information and supplies.
Special.
Snake meets Meryl and receives the pal card. Meryl.
Meryl.
As they head for the underground base, Meryl is possessed by psychic Psycho Mantis, which we'll fucking get to Psycho
I
Mantis.
love Psycho
I
Mantis
promise.
so much.
Because that's actually kind of brilliant. We'll have to talk about how the game functions around
Yes.
Psycho Mantis because it's kind of brilliant.
Can I also say there's a major part of the plot that they've left out, which is at no point have they referenced Meryl's ass, which has come up
So-
at least 8 times by this
Yes.
point. in the game.
So in game, we are really very concerned with how shapely Meryl's ass is.
It's
Like we're like preternaturally concerned to the exclusion of the end of the world with how hot she is.
Aggressive.
Yes,
how much we
it's
talk
really
about her
important
ass.
that we know that she's hot.
In kind of like a PG-13, like
Yeah.
80s high school movie kind of way. It's like, oh, she's got a really nice bottom, doesn't she? That's
Yes.
that's Otacon. But
But it's ever present.
yeah. Yeah.
So
it is.
so we're so we fight Psycho Mantis.
Right.
He disarms her and so Meryl is possessed by Psycho Mantis.
Yes.
So he weaponizes her against Snake. Snake disarms her and then defeats
Just
Mantis
beats
in
the
a fight.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
it's-
going
it's
to
pretty
disarm her by
aggressive.
punching the
Just
shit out of her.
punches and kicks the shit out of poor Meryl.
After
like
Meryl
3
sexually
times.
propositions Snake, mind you.
Yeah.
Then Snake then beats the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And then Mantis informs Snake that he has a large place in Meryl's heart. After they reach the underground passageway, Sniper Wolf ambushes him. Not that one. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I love Sniper Wolf.
Sniper Wolf ambushes them, wounds Meryl, and captures Snake.
Meryl.
Liquid, who again is the cyborg, who is Gray Fox, right? Is
No.
wait.
Liquid Snake is
Like
Wait,
the long-haired
With the
blonde.
blonde-
dude,
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, yes.
Liquid-
but also, God, the snakes. How many snakes do there have to be?
so many snakes.
Why is it
Solid
always
snake, liquid
It's-
snake.
Indiana Jones would hate this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I even lost my spot. Liquid. This is the first that they've even brought up Liquid in this fucking
Yeah,
summary here.
So even
Liquid's-
Wikipedia is confused.
Yeah, Liquid Snake.
Yeah.
Liquid Snake is
It is the head of the Foxhound unit,
yes,
right? Yes.
He's
so.
he's running the installation.
Yeah.
He's kind of the big
Outer
bad.
Heaven.
Yeah.
So Liquid confirms Snake's suspicion that they are twin brothers.
Yep.
Dun dun dun.
After being
Or
tortured
are
by
they?
Jesus.
Because they kind of aren't.
After being tortured by Ocelot, because we can't get fucking rid of him, he's
He's
a
everywhere.
one-handed pistolier torturing us. What the fuck? Snake is confused to discover Anderson's body in his cell,
Yeah.
seemingly dead for
And
days.
he's real smelly.
He escapes with the help of Otacon, makes his way up to the communications tower, and fends off a Hind D helicopter attack from Liquid.
Yep. As you
As
do.
he emerges onto a snowfield, he is confronted again by Sniper Wolf. He kills her, devastating Otacon, who was infatuated with her.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a sad scene.
It is.
I feel bad for Otacon, because what we're not conveying is that Otacon is pretty likable,
Yeah.
even though he's like,
He's likable to us. I
Yeah.
think
He
most
is,
people
yeah.
would find him really annoying.
probably.
Yeah, I
but-
find him more annoying. Like he's already pissed himself, and he's like, "No, my
I also
waifu."
like that fucking
fair enough.
yeah.
that's true.
Solid Snake fucking lies to him here because there's this scene where Sniper Wolf dies And Otacon's like, what was she fighting for? What am I fighting for? What are you fighting for? And David Hayter / Solid Snake turns around and he's like, if we make it through this, I'll tell you. He never fucking does that.
No.
That never happens.
It's probably just to get him to shut up, and that's what I would have done.
Shut the fuck up, you weeb.
Yeah, either get like if you don't shut up, I'm going to steal your stealth cloak technology, and then
It's a bandana.
Or will he?
it depends on how you beat the game. So
Well, fair enough.
Sorry.
Snake continues to Rex's hangar and is ambushed again by Raven.
Yeah.
After Snake defeats him, Raven tells Snake that the Anderson he conversed with, quote-unquote Anderson he conversed with, was, in fact, Foxhound disguise artist Decoy Octopus.
This is the most batshit part of the game. We introduce a character post-mortem.
Yes.
And it's like, no. The guy you saw was actually Decoy Octopus, who had drained the blood of this guy so that he could impersonate him, because we'd already killed him, and then we killed him. And it's like, why? Why, Kojima? Why?
Oh, God.
Decoy Octopus!
So good. So, infiltrating Metal Gear's hangar, Snake overhears Liquid and... All right. We'll let Brent fix himself.
Decoy
Decoy motherfucking octopus. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
sounds like
No, our naming conventions are fucking
Yeah.
on point, guys.
oh, okay. Remember how
sounds like a
when we were
maneuver.
talking
The
about
old
Halo-
decoy octopus, like the classic minivan flank. That's how much sense this makes.
You know how in the Halo episode I was talking about how all the names in Halo are so cool? Yeah, the opposite of that.
Except they're so bad, it still
It
works.
circles around. It goes all the way back to good again. Yeah.
This is a future I'm a time travel scenario where we're shooting Eleanor Roosevelt out the window.
Octopus.
Infiltrating Metal Gear's hangar, Snake overhears Liquid and Ocelot preparing the Rex launch sequence and uses the PAL card.
Yep.
But this unexpectedly activates Rex.
Yeah.
Liquid reveals that he has been impersonating Snake's advisor, Master Miller, who, surprise, there's another name.
Yeah, sorry, we forgot a character.
That Foxhound has used Snake to facilitate Rex's launch. Because we needed to bring him in to make him...
Yeah.
We couldn't just do it.
No.
We need you to come and start killing a bunch of people.
You've got to bring this card from part of our base to another part of our base so that we can launch a thing. They needed him to heat the shit up and cool it down. That's why they needed.
So for the next part, so we're going to refer back to Big Boss, who is basically the protagonist from an earlier game in the series, and an earlier proponent or like a player in the story of the genesis of Metal Gear in general.
Also not in this game, but can I just point out, Big Boss, also known as Naked Snake.
Yep. So many snakes.
There's so many snakes.
So Liquid here.
Yeah.
Liquid, he and Snake are the product of the Les Enfants Terribles project, a 1970s government program to clone Big Boss.
Yeah.
You're a clone.
Dun,
It's but it's an analog cloning, not like the inferior digital cloning we have now.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
He also reveals to Snake the government's true reason for sending him.
No, wait, no. Sorry, you can't just skip over that, because the best part of that conversation is it's like
the cloning, the analog versus digital.
They gave you all of his dominant genes, and they gave me all of his inferior recessive genes. I'm like, that's not how any of that works, Kojima.
They swapped the wrong discs. They forgot to put the disc 2. They put disc 3 instead of disc 2 in.
Also, they gave Liquid the recessive genes, or did they? Because actually, no, they fucking didn't.
Dude, nothing matters. Everything's fake. just go with it. It's fine.
Okay,
Fuck you. I'm Hideo Kojima. Yeah, so your clone. He also reveals to Snake the government's true reason for sending him. Snake is unknowingly carrying a weaponized fox die virus that causes cardiac arrest in foxhound members on contact, allowing the government to retrieve Rex undamaged.
And some other people also, for reasons that aren't clear.
As Liquid in Rex battles Snake, because we're fighting the Metal Gear.
Oh, but they skipped over Naomi.
Oh, her reveal, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even talk
See
about
if that's
Naomi.
in here.
Have they even referenced Naomi?
No.
Really?
There's so much.
Or Mei Ling, Mei Ling,
They
right?
talked about
Oh, God.
okay, that's the other racist thing.
Yeah.
we have to get to is
Yeah.
Mei-Ling. But yeah, okay. all
God,
right. Sorry.
it's ridiculous. I'm just reading this here.
Sorry, keep going.
So yeah, Snake is fighting the Metal Gear because now he's fighting a giant biped.
Yeah,
bipedal
giant
machine.
bipedal
Yeah,
robot.
he's fighting like
As
an
you do.
Attack on Titan style mech. Yeah.
So Gray Fox, the cyborg ninja, appears, and I believe he's helping you fight Metal Gear, right?
Yes.
He reveals to Snake that he was Deep Throat. I was Deep Throat all along.
Maybe later.
Destroys Rex's radome, I think, right? Like
I think they
whatever.
pronounce it radome.
It's whatever the core is or whatever.
Yeah.
And then is crushed to death by Rex because he's a fucking ninja. He can like jump off the ceilings, but he can't get out of the way of a falling shelf.
Yep. Yes, this is accurate.
Snake destroys Rex and defeats Liquid, then escapes with Meryl or Otacon via a tunnel pursued by Liquid in a Jeep. That's actually kind of a fun little sequence. Meryl. After their vehicles crash, Liquid pulls a gun on Snake, but dies from fox die, because of course he fucking does. Colonel Campbell briefly...
or whatever, however he does. Yeah.
Colonel Campbell, briefly ousted from command, calls off a nuclear strike to destroy evidence of the operation.
Yeah, and it's heavily implied that the fucking American, like, Secretary of Defense flew up there and personally assassinated that motherfucker, and then he just shows back up. It's amazing.
So we're going to get, and we're getting to one of the members that we were just recently referring to.
Okay.
So we call off the nuclear strike to cover up the whole thing.
Yep.
And has Snake registered as KIA, killed in action,
Sure.
to stop the U.S. government searching for him.
Or was he?
Naomi...
Ooh.
Naomi Hunter, who injected Snake with the fox die virus... Fucking of course, Jesus Christ.
Or did
tells
she?
him that he has an indeterminate amount of time before it kills him.
She is so frustrating in that scene, too. She's like, how long do I have to live? Just live your life. Go. Be free. How fucking long till I die?
Wait. You did this to me. You don't get to be fucking... You don't get to be all artsy about this.
It's about enjoying the time you have left. Where do I fucking go?
What does life mean to you? That's how long you have. Shut up, bitch! How long do I have?
Because I have shit to plan out. Like, there's like, I have an
Do
apartment.
I have
like,
long enough to fuck Meryl?
Yeah.
I have an apartment. I have like a cat I got to give away. Like, I've got like, I have dishes on layaway at Sears. Like, come on, man, give me an idea.
Just the mental image of Solid Snake going back to like a shitty apartment in Anchorage, and he's like, I guess I should sort through my old Rolling Stones. Like, I don't know, I don't need this one.
After all of this, Ocelot calls the U.S. president.
Best use of all of this ever in the history of English writing.
Thank you. Ocelot was a double agent all along, whose mission was to steal Baker's disc of Metal Gear specifications.
Yep.
Fiend.
Hey everybody, Future Brent here. We're going to go ahead and cut it here as we wrap up our conversation about the plot of Metal Gear Solid, and we'll be returning in 2 weeks to come back and talk about our thoughts on the rest of the game. If you like what we're doing, please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, of course on our Discord, Facebook. Holler at us, let us know what you think of what we're doing here, and with that, bye!
Or does it? Or can it? Or does he?
Does he? God. Or does he?
No, he does.
Or does it?
Or is it? No, it is.
After being tortured
Or are
by...
they?
Or are they?
Jesus.
Because they kind of aren't.
Or will he?
They gave Liquid the recessive genes, or did they?